Hello fam, your boy Gabriel Lee here with the review for FarSky, the sandbox underwater vaporwave seapunk game, survival adventure game. Um, just all around fun game, but maybe not necessarily as deep as these waters go. You may be wondering exactly why I'm doing a review when I only had that one Let's Play and didn't even complete it in that Let's Play. Well, I have completed it before in adventure mode. I don't even know if I picked adventure mode. But adventure mode and survivor mode are not significantly different. The main difference being that you have one life in survivor mode, and in adventure mode you have infinite lives. Survivor mode, there are also more predators than there are in adventure mode, and that sort of makes it more likely that you'll die. That being said, though, there really is no new content for survivor mode. It is more or less the same game as adventure mode. And right off the bat, it starts off pretty strong. It's got a little survival story going on, and that's really cool, and I really enjoyed that aspect of FarSky, but that doesn't really develop anywhere. You find the sub pieces, and then it's over with. And I'm probably going to finish this game within the time span of doing this review. It really is something that doesn't take a significant amount of time to complete. There are only 3 tiers of gear, and that's from iron to copper to magnesium, and each tier is associated with a certain depth level. To get to the 3rd depth, though, you only need copper items, so you don't even necessarily need to craft magnesium items. In total, there are probably under 50 things to craft in the game. If we were to not count the workbenches, counting the workbenches, there might be a little bit more. Not significantly, though. And most of the items that you can craft are simple things like the floor, which lets you build bases, but as you'll see right now, when you build a base, it sort of just extends with the same designed floor as any other floor laid down and in a grid-like pattern. There is no special customization for it. There is no like in-depth creation to the whole process. So while you can play in a sandbox mode, there really isn't a whole lot of creativity allowed to you within FarSky, and that's sort of disappointing because I think with the atmosphere of the environment and the beautiful soundtrack and things like that has going for it, it really could succeed as a sandbox creative like game, but it just really doesn't have enough to create within the game, and the game's been out for quite some time, so it's unlikely that we will see any new content being released. In FarSky, a lot of the challenge comes through balancing resources. The resources that you need to balance are your oxygen levels, the daylight time, because at nighttime a greater number of predators will appear, and hunger. Obviously, oxygen is the one that you come in contact with the most, and as his oxygen starts to get lower, Nathan begins to like sort of take on this panting breath sound effect of really that he's just lacking the oxygen to breathe. And I think that that tension that it gives the game is really good. I think that compared to the calmness of the soundtrack and things like that, puts a lot of tension on you when you realize that you're in danger of dying. And I enjoy that. Same with the like quick swimming sound effect that the barracudas and sharks make when they approach to attack you, things like of that nature. As I mentioned earlier, there are three tiers to the game. The first tier being this very sunny, like typical tropical coral reef feeling area. And then as you go lower, it gets darker and more bioluminescent. Survivor mode, really, the only thing that it results from that one single life is that you're going to kind of find that you're doing everything much, much slower, and it sort of gives a artificial length to the game, coupled with the fact that the submarine pieces are no longer there. I sort of wish that Survivor mode was available from the get-go, because once again the experience doesn't significantly change from Adventure mode. It's more or less the same thing, just a slower pace for something that you've already gone through. And the second level being this sort of kelp forest thing. There's anglerfish, there's frilled sharks down here. This is where you come in contact with copper, which is very essential to reaching the third layer, and is actually good enough gear that you can probably beat the game with only copper gear. The third tier being the sea bottom with bioluminescent plants, krakens, jellyfish, all kinds of crazy creatures. The most fantastical element of the game, there's a reference to the krakens and their need to stay alive by protecting these crystals, sort of a I would say Avatar theme potentially going on. It's hard to say really though what this narrative has any significance for, just because you aren't given much more details beyond that short dialogue between Nathan and his rescuer. Though the depth indicator seems to indicate that there are deeper depths, you can't go beyond 350 meters, and there really isn't anything lower than it once you try and descend, as you'll probably want to find out for yourself. Which is unfortunate, because if we had a few more tiers and we just got into crazier and crazier environs with more and more fantastical elements, or just had to craft even more gear with more combinations of metals and things like that, my ability to really recommend this game would be greatly increased, because like I keep saying, there isn't enough there for me to say that you have to go out and get this. And once you've crafted the equipment, such as the oxygen tank and the dive helmet, you'll very easily be able to find all 9 of the submarine pieces and have tracked them down for you to acquire, all the while being amazed with these very beautiful art style, even with the simplistic graphics. Your ears being treated to a pretty good ambient, spacious soundtrack. There being moments of tension, moments of peace, moments of calm. Finding the 9th piece, you enter the submarine and begin to ascend to the surface. This is for me personally, my oxygen tank was very low the first time I was doing it, and Nathan was beginning to asphyxiate, so it was very tense. There was a lot of elation. I was worried that was going to be my last moments, and I was going to die. The submarine was going to be up. I didn't know what would happen if that was going to occur, and so when I finally surfaced, it was a big deal. It really, I felt complete in the experience. However, I expected to come back to the game with there to be more to see, and have yet to find anything more from the experience, unfortunately. So as much as I think this is a fun, atmospheric, very sensually pleasing game, it's just so shallow and so lacking in any depth that you're only going to get so many hours out of it. And I know I kept saying that throughout the review, but I need to stress this because it is amazing. It's amazing fun, that very quickly runs out. You feel like you are going to receive more as soon as it like really hooks in and it really sinks in, and you're just like amazed at what you are experiencing in this game, and then it's over. So while it is a fun game, the fun never amounts to enough to be worth anything beyond that hour. It runs out. It's they did not pace it very well. They didn't give it a whole or a good enough lifespan. So all in all, as much as I enjoyed FarSky, I couldn't get enough from it. I mean, it wasn't enough. I enjoyed that hour that I had with it, and I enjoyed a couple more hours after that, but then I just kept looking for the more that was going to hopefully turn up, and it doesn't. So FarSky, while almost one of the few games that have cracked a 5 from my reviews, is a 5 out of 10, simply because there isn't enough there. It's fun. It's short. It's like you're playing a teaser or demo. It's just a trailer. It's never going to be more than that. But what did you think of FarSky? Did you feel that the content that it provided was enough for what you paid for it or what you put in, or that it had enough depth to really keep your interest in the long haul, or is something that you could return to and play time and time and time again? Let me know in the comments below. Also, let me know what you think I should review next. I'm open to really anything. This was Gabriel Lee, FarSky, Vaporwave, C-Punk soundtrack of the year for you, fam.